When we went about this initiative about 3 years ago to build the data and the tech to understand the data, the initial focus clearly is on how do you target better, because we believe that premium video as an advertising environment is still the sight, sound, and motion and emotion of it. There's nothing better for where the advertising can reside. What could get better is how we target within the premium content that we have across the portfolio. So we have our 2 broadcast networks, one in English and Spanish. We have 14 cable networks. We have this breadth and scale of a portfolio. And how do we then use the data better to identify specific customer segments down to the program level across our national inventory to make the advertising better connected, more relevant to the consumers that are watching our premium content. And so that's what we first went about. And ATP, our audience targeting platform, was the first way where this really came to life, where we find audiences by matching incredibly rich data sets informed on the viewing side with our Comcast set-top box data and the 22 million homes of data that we have, matched with any relevant third-party or client first-party data, including CRM data. So it unlocked an ability to look at our content and our advertising environments in a way that we could never before. So we moved from simply looking at age and gender, which was both the currency of our marketplace, but also the only real measurement we had to transact, to something much more valuable, much more richer, which is custom segments that were unique to each client and each brand within the client about who they're trying to reach. So the focus, and we're now 3 years into this, and it's been an amazing and incredibly successful partnership with the clients and their agencies, is to transition from the legacy world of selling against just the content itself and the programs and networks to truly selling against audiences. So naturally, as you start to unlock the value in the targeting side, it leads to the questions of, okay, now how can you use the data to start to understand the outcome measurement of how we're targeting and how that's working. So what we're also doing is through similar data and incorporating other kind of data sets and other measurements is to better understand what the different outcomes are from the campaigns that companies are running on not just our linear, but our digital and mobile platforms, the content we push out on social, all the different ways that we connect with the consumer. We can measure in a discrete way the different impact it may have on different parts of the consumer journey. We always want to be careful that to jump from a single ad exposure to a sale is usually a bridge too far. We all know, anyone that's been in marketing and advertising, that it's the combination of touch points with the consumer. Everything from the upper funnel brand awareness and brand equity building that happens as you go down to opinion and consideration to purchase intent. Different media types, different kinds of messaging, different sequential targeting, all impacts the way in which the consumer goes from first learning about a brand to actually wanting to make the purchase, and obviously varies very differently by products. So what we're doing is measuring all different parts of the funnel and understanding how each one plays a role, and that way as we re-optimize, we get better and better at making sure the targeting and then the KPI that we want to get out of the media exposures is being properly measured and then properly optimized for the future, so it becomes this virtuous cycle.
And finally, Mike, you spoke on stage about advertising, the importance of advertising, and curious to know how you see data can actually influence advertising, either the way it's created or the way it's delivered, or how does that work, or how might it work?
Look, I think advertising is an incredibly important service to consumers. People want advertising. Advertising is not a nuisance. It's not an interruption. It's providing, under the right circumstances, if it's targeted well, if it's relevant to the consumers, it's information they want to understand the purchases they make. We are a consumer economy. We love it's most of the GDP is people buying things. We help them learn through advertising. It's good information, it makes emotional connections when it's done well. Data in service to that makes sure that we create the right matches between the consumer and what type of products, what type of advertising is most relevant to their lifestyle. And as long as the advertising is relevant, as long as it is contextually connected well to the content that they're viewing, then they embrace it. And then it helps the brand, it helps the consumer, it helps the content that's within it. So I think in that way we see it as serving this ecosystem, which when it's done right, and data is going to help us continue to do it better and better, that makes all of it work better for the consumer.